So Bojack wanted us to have help on spice gain and ES damage. Also means just helping overall getting breeding going. So we want to make sure that we have that going. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at breeding as always. So when we go into breeding here, we can see here he is running a alchemic converter build. He does have converter all across. He is running whale, which is fantastic. You love to see that. And he's got a nice 2.09 going on that. So he's running all the stuff that you should be running realistically. How's he doing for arena? He's currently at a full wave 200. He has 207. His upgrades are looking pretty good. So he wants to increase spice gain. Okay, so far, you're probably at the point now where you actually don't really need to have this setup anymore. So if we go over to this sheet here, you're currently running, this meta spice. Okay, this is technically what you're running right now. This is good. I mean, it's not bad, but you're gonna want to start converting over to the next one, which is 3 alchemics, and you have 1 alchemic on the 4th one, and then you want to start running full burger, miasma, and bunny at the end, converter, and some beautiful origin. Or what is it? The leaf one, the healing one, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So this is your next build. This is going to help unlock your spice game even more because you're not really prioritizing beach docks anymore. Because forager, thank you. You're not really trying to push beach docks anymore. You're basically just waiting for your no bubble left behind to level that stuff up because it's probably way too expensive at this point. So you're really not. You're basically just waiting for good procs. So now you want to start working on burger and start getting your miasmas, your foragers, your converters, and your alchemics. Now, what I see here is you have really low pet levels. If I'm taking a guess and saying that your pet levels are going to be probably you are level 55 on breeding. So that means you can get way higher pets than what you currently have. So what I strongly suggest to do is when it comes to this, you can do a couple of things here. Pull this up. Bojack. Start on brand new meta. Previously mentioned. This will help with incredible amount of spice gain. You already have all the bosses and everything. Wait, you're only at Pristel Lake? Wait, you only have Pristel Lake done? How you max Arena 207 and you only have Pristel Lake? Okay, well that's a little bit different. Okay, well then let's go back to this sheet here, okay? We go down, you have 6-man, you want to definitely... Probably a god gamer, realistically. So ideally, what you want to run is you want to run right here. So you see this one, the Nuke by Jaeger. This is a very good build for pushing for big territory gains, which is followed by 1 Rattler, 2 Refillers, 1 Defender, 1 Mono, and 1 Looter. This is going to be super huge for you because it's really easy to build up those stacks, especially running Refiller, getting those procs going. If you want to end up changing this out, you can by like running a Burger and then running a Rattler in the back. Or if you want to take a Refiller out and running double Defender, you can do that as well. Basically, you're going to be relying majority of RNG in order for this to happen, but this is usually the best one that you can get. For the most part, this requires slight RNG. If you want to reduce the RNG a little bit, run the double defender, run the Rattler in the back, and run the Burger in the front. But honestly, when it comes down to it, you could also, instead of running Rattler, you could be running Ninja. Ninja is actually a really good pet for that as well. So how it would look is you're running Ninja in the back, followed by Mono, 2 Defenders, 1 Refiller, and a Burger. This will just help you take maybe 1 or 2 hits in case you get a bad RNG break when it comes to the first hit. Some are going to require difference because in some territories you're only fighting 1 mob, and in other territories you're fighting an upwards, I believe, of 4 to 5. So definitely you have a choice of what territory setup that you want to run. If you want to run, you could also run the safety setup as well. But what I would suggest is run what I said to suggest. You could also run the looter build as well. It's a little bit slower, but hoping for that proc. Ninja also works as well. So for those territory battles, it's much more RNG, but you're definitely going to want to run that. So this is your choice. You have this one, or you can run, like I said before, Ninja, Mono, Double Defender, Refiller, and then run Burger. Or if you want to try the more RNG, Looter, Mono, Defender, Double Refiller, and Rattler. You don't want to, so you don't want to use Whale for pet territories, because here's the reason why you don't want to run for pet territories. You don't have the chance to build up enough Badum stacks. Because too many Badum stacks will just end up, you're just not going to get to a point. Like, realistically, the pet battle will only last like 10 minutes at most, and you'll probably only end up getting maybe like 100 if you're lucky. What's up, Fear? We're doing IE reviews right now. So definitely, so I'll put this up here. So you had a choice of running the nuke build. By the way, this is the spreadsheet's in the Discord if you need it. The nuke build. Or you can run a Ninja. This is a little bit of a safer build. Mono, Double Defender, Defend, Refiller, and then Burger. So you'll be able to pull that off. And also, if you're looking to, since you're switching over to more of a meta build, you're going to be running less alchemics, same amount of converters, but you're going to be taking away your whales, and you're going to basically be running full Burger, Miasma, Forager, and Converter pretty much for the whole things, since you're at that point where you're probably already done with your Diamond Chef. And the same all the way down. And if you need more damage, Blooming Axe is also huge. And ideally, you want to be running a Flashy as well. So that will definitely help a lot for that situation. And also, if you're looking to get better pets, you want to make sure that your egg rarity is at 3.25 times. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want. This is going to be very big. So basically, it's going to be more or less a waiting game. Now, if you want to increase your egg cap, you want to run Divine Knight with full drop rate, max DR, and farm World 4 Coliseum if you have the tickets, and run the same for your Mutated Mush Weekly. This will give you a ton of eggs, an insane amount of eggs, and this will be able to help you push greatly, so you can put your full roster of eggs, have them sitting, wait them to get to like platinum at least, wait until they're like maybe gold, platinum, and then you'll use your eggs and try to get these higher pets going. Perfect. So you're doing that to unlock Converter Pet. Fantastic. You love to see it. But as long as you have this set up, because right now you're not trying to unlock pets, you're trying to get more spices. So if you don't have Ninja yet, if you do have Ninja, fantastic, run with that. If you want to try the build that you're pretty sure you have, the build that I was showing, the nuke build, or the Ninja, Mono, Defender, Refiller, and then Burger, just to help out a little bit. That'll ultimately just make your life a little bit easier. But for the most part, this is the stuff that you want to run. This is the stuff that will help you. And also, whenever you're doing it, I'm sure you already know this, but I'm going to make sure that everybody in chat knows this as well, is when you're running your Beastmaster, you want to make sure that you're running Curvature of the Paw. I can see that you already have 208 on there, so you're doing good in that regards. Just make sure whenever you're doing that, make sure you have Curvature of the Paw, and make sure you have the Breeding XP good to go. So just to make sure that you can maximize the beautiful amount that you need. Also, if you're struggling for a little bit of damage as well, you can go to World 5, or World 4, and go to Cooking. There's a couple things for pet damage for cooking that are super, super beneficial to you. For instance, you have Cake going on. You can do 242 to increase the pet damage just a little bit. Getting that going, get that up there. Definitely just helps out a little bit. And I believe, is there one more? Yes, there's also Croissant. You could use 20 ladles for extra little damage for that as well. And if we go into our vials here, electrolytes. So I see that you already have level 9 on electrolytes. So definitely juicing out that damage as high as possible. And of course, if you didn't know as well, leveling up the pet arena for extra charges will also increase pet damage also. So those are your 3 sources of definitely creating that up. But I can see that you already did that because you had level 208 of that. So that's looking pretty good. So that's what I would suggest working towards at least right now for your pets. That's just something you want to go towards. And then the next, yeah, you definitely have way more than enough pet damage, but if you just want to make it that much less RNG, is basically what you want to roll. And that will help you get your territories. But in reality, when it really comes down to it and beating pet territory battles, it's just trial and error. It's just keep on going in, keep on hammering it out, keep on rolling, and just each time you die, set it back up, do it again, rage for RNG, and rage that you get those procs. If you can get those procs and you get it going, and the biggest thing is timing your defender. If you can't time your defender, you're going to struggle too hard. It's all about having that perfect timing so that shield blocks for the first one. Usually once you get that shield proc, the refillers really come in clutch afterwards to make sure that you have that shield ready to go for the next one. So when you're doing it, just make sure that when you're pushing territory, you don't have your defender set to automatic. You want to make sure that you're manually inputting that specific one just so you can get that going. You're just hoping for that to happen. So that's what I would suggest for your breeding. Now let's take a look at your elemental sorcerer. So you want to boost out your elemental sorcerer damage. Currently, give me a ballpark, Bojack. What's your max damage for your elemental sorcerer for the build that you want to run? First thing I'm saying is don't run Fiber of Absence. if you want me 100% honest with you, don't run Fiber of Absence. That's unless you're not hitting multi-kill, it's not worth it. It's honestly not worth it. Question, why are you running Prayer of Absence? What is the reason for it? Because I see that you're also running card drop rate and crystal chance. You're running drop rate, crystal chance, and card drop chance, but you're also running Fiber of Essence. Are you pushing? He's at Gigafrogs. So if you don't know, okay, Fiber of Essence does not help with drop rate. It does not help with card farming. It does not help with literally anything. The only thing that it helps with is pushing portals or pushing Death Note. Those are the only things that Fiber of Essence is used for. So the only time that Fiber of Absence actually becomes good is in the Rift. It's fantastic in the Rift for the reason being that you won't hit multi-kill in late game Rift. So since you can't hit multi-kill in late game Rift, Fiber of Absence comes in clutch. But in any other regards, do not run Fiber of Absence. You forgot to take it off when active? All right, there you go. There's 20% damage increase right there, big dog. Done. Next. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's take a look at your skills here. So right off the get-go, if you're looking for more damage, right off the get-go, I see tools, man. You got the 4%. You got, you're looking pretty good here. I mean, I would take off the luster and get to Cheezor. Run Cheezor instead. Maybe get some tenacity rings. Tenacity rings that you can get from the Flurbo shop. They're only 2,000 Flurbos per. This is big extra damage. It's actually stronger than Neutron rings. You're going to want to eventually replace your donut keychains with maybe some more wisdom percent. All in all, and tools, man. Tools, splicers, everything. Get your tools up. Tools will help your damage, as I was saying, for 4. Base stat equals OP. I mean, you also have grilled cheese knowledges, so you're getting a 4.1% from that as well. Definitely spend some time maybe farming some more golden cheese. I mean, you got a bunch of grilled cheese on your Maestro. You got, yeah, so a lot of it, yeah, it looks like a lot of it is going to be a golden cheese farm. Yeah, start farming out your golden grilled cheese. Golden grilled cheese farming. Golden cheese. Same as before. DK running drop crystal chance. And you want to go for crystal chance, and you're going to be running Citron's map. It's the best map to do it for. Absolutely fantastic. You love to see it. And getting enough crystal spawning, you're gonna be rocking and rolling. But yeah, tools is a big one. Definitely don't want to sleep on the tools, especially they're super easy to get. Void tools take literally nothing, and especially probably with the skill XP. Splicer's huge, dude. Sleeping on the splicer big time. You got to realize that tier 4 splicer's like 40 all stat plus whatever you want on top of it, so that's just more wisdom, right? Tier 5 stones feels good, feels donka. You know, you'll love to see it. Also helps with your splicing in order to, you know, help get new pets and stuff like that. Statue farming. Statue farming is a big one to start helping out with your damage as well, because you also want to go for 200% crit chance. I'm taking a guess right now you can't hit 200% crit chance with that, so you want to start statue farming. My recent crystal guide, on YouTube, you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It also explains where's the best place to statue farm for what statues you're looking for. So definitely taking your DK and statue farming like board beans for base damage, movement speed, food effect percent, crit chance. You want to try to get that 200% crit chance as quickly as possible. This is ultimately going to help you in the long term, especially farming active. Well, I mean, farming active is definitely something you want to work on. So you got death storage, you got fight civil war box. I don't know if you know this or not, but I'll let chat know this in case they don't know. You could use silver pens on the same box to refresh your post office. So you just click your silver pen, click on the box that's already been used up. You can refresh the box and keep on spamming it. So you can accumulate a ton of boxes in one day. You should not be activating statue farming on ES. It's not worth it. Big trust on that because ES running crystal spawn chances actually dog doo-doo. You want to run full drop rate on ES. Rule of thumb for ES is anything on the first loot page is superior to ES. So that's like Giga Frog Horns, Pop Opals, for instance, Walking Sticks is going to be the base material for Walking Sticks or Woodula Circles. Divine Knight is for the rare drop tables. So that's considering basically everything from crystal spawns. So that's considering statues, golden food, all the other stuff, obols, certain obols as well. All of that is going to be done on your Divine Knight. ES is just overall not good for that because I'm pretty sure that ES portals do not have a chance to spawn crystals. I'm pretty sure that it doesn't happen because it doesn't help for Death Note, it doesn't help for pushing portals, and it also doesn't help for running crystals. So overall, just ES when it comes to crystal mob spawn, not worth it. You want to run DK overall. It may seem like you're making more with ES. It may seem like you're making more with ES, but I promise you, you're not. And also, another thing, you can't run Midas on ES, but you can run Midas on DK, which makes it way more potent in the long run. So you should definitely 100%, if you're doing any sort of that kind of farm in the rare loot tables, make sure you're running Divine Knight because you have a thing called the Orb, which is actually fake drop rate. Now, what I mean by fake drop rate, and instead of dropping the potential chance of the quality, it's dropping quantity. So if you have like 400 orb, that means you have I believe it's a ×5 chance to roll into the loot, rather than drop rate has a chance of rolling into that loot based on your total drop rate, if that makes sense. So technically, you end up getting way more from orb in the long run than you do from running ES, which increases drop rate, of course, but that's, good for like base materials and stuff to make sure that you have that. But in the end, DK is way better. DK, 100% all the way. Best for statue farming, best for obol farming, best for anything rare, golden food, you name it. It is BIS. You want to trust me on that, source me on that, crystal spawn chance video. It's my recent video on my main channel. Go check it out. So that's what you want to do to farm. So definitely want to start statue farming, getting that going. Next, let's take a look. You want to work on so we already said equipment. That's good to know. Let's take a look. And also, hi Zam, how's it going, buddy? You're running cookie chip. That's perfect. You have cookie chip, run that on Divine Knight. Fantastic. Absolutely juicing out. And then we need to go to skills. Talents. That's what I meant. Okay, so let's take a quick look here at your ES damage. This is usually the easiest way to boost out your ES damage is properly allocating your points. So, huge ones to upgrade. Utmost Intellect. Utmost Intellect is giga juiced. It's all stat percent. Not only that, it increases talent book for Book of the Wise, which is very, very, very strong because it's base wisdom. Base wisdom scales off of all stat percent. It's not total wisdom, it's base wisdom. So you definitely want to make sure you get that as high as possible. So Utmost Intellect, you want to make sure to have that huge. You rather take less off Chain Bolt. I mean, Dimensional Wormhole is Pog. You want to make sure that's high. Emperor Wormhole, you want to make sure that's pretty good as well because that's extra damage percent. Symbols Beyond is goated as well. That helps with everything. So once you start farming out all your skills, you're going to have way more talent points to work with. It's going to be nice and easy. Same with this one. Wiz Wumbo, super, super huge. Paperwork is great. Fantastic. Fuchsia Flasks, if you can get that up a little bit higher, depending on what your alchemy bubble is, this is going to help way more with your overclocked energy. What's your max books level? By the way, Bojack. max book level that you can get up to. Taking a guess, it's like what, like 190, 200 maybe, 200 at most. I would assume 185. Okay, so the next thing you want to work is next thing you want to work on as well is work on farming talent preset, or doing your talent stuff. Higher talents, bigger damage, bigger happy. Talent max level books. I also have a guide on about that on the main channel as well. So I had it up to 220, and then obviously there's Eldritch Fury that increases that even more. That's the only thing that I didn't have because Eldritch wasn't available then. So farming max level talent books is going to be super, super huge. You get you also get the benefit on the other preset as well. So that'll definitely on the flask. So if you want to save points in that, and then that way you can book a higher Untwisted Robes, because Untwisted Robes affects all equipment. That's including tools, that's including skulls, splicer, weapon, armor, etc., etc. Right. So you definitely want to make sure you level up Untwisted Robes. That's tons of free damage. Getting the Fuchsia Flask up will definitely help with overclocked energy. That's massive. I'd rather have you prioritize Book of the Wise over putting points into Quickness Boots and Fist of Rage. It's not necessarily beneficial, and mostly benefit off Mana Booster, Gilded Sword, and Sharpened Axe. And Teleport doesn't really have a worth, so you don't really want to run Teleporter. Teleport is kind of useless. It's kind of garbo. So, I mean, you could take points away from Mini Fireball, from Energy Bolt, because you're not going to use those active, not even in the slightest, unless this is an AFK character, then I can understand. But your three, so let's just go over what your main talent sources are for damage. Sharpened Axe, Gilded Sword, Book of the Wise, Overclocked Energy, Mana Booster. Next one is you're going to want points into the chopping it up easy, Individual Insight. Your next, Power Overwhelming, Untwisted Robes, Knowledge is Power, Mana Overdrive. Also super huge. Paperwork, great. Occult Obols end up going to be huge beneficial for you late game. Staring Statues is actually huge to help get your Beholder statue to 200% crit chance. Wiz Wumbo, Fuchsia Flask, but I mean, you don't really need that. Once you get to that points up, then you can just talent point reset to keep that. Mana's Life is just good for multi-kill per teal, and Speedy Book will just help overall. You don't need to put any points into Ice Shards or Energy Bolt or Fireball because you're mostly going to be using Floor's Lava, Tornado, Meteor Shower, Lightning Barrage, and Radiant Chain Bolt. Those are the only things that you're going to be using for your abilities anywho. So, I mean, you're saving a tons of talent points from that. And then putting 1 point into Believers of Strength, 1 point into what is this called? Skill Wiz, just for the extra base wisdom is always good. Utmost Intellect is one of the biggest, huge damage. Beyond Symbols is massive. Family Guy's pretty good. And then, you know, Radiant, all that stuff is also good. You could take points out of Chaotic Force, only put 1 point into it, just so you have a proc chance. You don't need to be reliant on this whatsoever. It's not even that good. And then you could probably even take skill points out of this. And then you could take literally 81 points out of Crystal for Days and just not run Crystal Chance whatsoever on your character because it's pointless for ES. Just don't even bother. Just do all that stuff on your DK. And you could max out Frothy Milk, and you could put the rest into Stat Overload. And I mean, realistically, if you want to have a little bit more damage, you can take out Cardiovascular if you're mostly running 4-star cards. And then you could probably take out coins for Sharon, because realistically, you're not going to be using... So the thing is you're not going to be using ES to farm money. So there's no point of putting points into something that will also help out with the money. So I'd rather see you take those points out of money, put them back into Stat Overload. Because ultimately, that's just what's going to help increase your damage. Also working on getting 100 up Mega Crit, and also doesn't hurt to get up on Quickness Boots to help out with your over-accurate crit to get more crit chance. And also finish on getting 100 on Dungeonic damage. All of these together will guarantee you skyrocket your damage for your Elemental Sorcerer. So that's what I would suggest for now, Bojack. These are the things I want you to work on. So when it comes to Breeding Sense, start on a brand new meta, which I said previously mentioned. I mean, we went over it. I mean, it was in the video. You can, for the territories, you can either run the nuke build, which I showed, or you can run Ninja, Mono, Defender, Refiller, and then Burger if you want a little bit extra chance. Alchemies and Stamps. I mean, his stamps are pretty low. He could, I mean, definitely, okay. That's a huge one. 1 million follower. 1 million follower quest. You want to get that done so you start leveling up your stamps. You want to start getting Dementia Sword going. And then you also want to get Steve's Sword. These are easy damage percents. I didn't want to go too hard into alchemy and stuff because we've already done so much today. But I mean, he's at a point right now that he shouldn't be leveling up his damage for his alchemy. He should be more or less working on his skilling bubbles because he's not at currently 300% yet. So he's going to be working more on getting his 300% multi-ore and start getting more on his skilling bubbles. So right now, I would say that's not necessarily to look at the point in time because he's got a lot of other stuff to work on first. So this is what I would suggest for what we have here. So like I said before, for breeding, start on previously new meta I mentioned previously in the video, the nuke build, or you can run Ninja Mono Defender, Defender Refiller, and then Burger. That'll help you out great. If you run the Divine Knight with full drop rate and max crystal chance and farm, or sorry, just full max drop rate and max orb and farm World 4 Coliseum and run your Muteo Mush weekly, you will end up getting a tons of eggs, insane amount of eggs. Working for your ES, working on tools for base stats, it's OP. I mean, you're missing tons and tons of wisdom just from your tools alone, not to mention your splicers, and doing the golden grilled cheese farm, which can be done with your DK at Citron's Mat with running crystal chance and running max orb and drop rate. Statue farming, like I said again, you can do a bunch of statue farming on your DK, golden homages, base damage, food effect, crit chance, trying to get up to that 200% crit chance, and then you want to start farming talents, max level books. You want to start getting that up. You're at about 185. You want to start getting that to start working to get 225. 225, if you can, is ideal, but minimum 200 will be beneficial for you. And finish your 1 million follower quest for those 2 stamps, which is Golden Food Effect stamp, and also your Steve Sword, which is total damage percent. So that should give you tons of stuff to work on. Go ahead with it, and that's what I would suggest.